As I'm sure you're aware of by now, the campaign strategy of Kamala Harris is to essentially hope that Americans have absolutely no memory of her whatsoever. She never said the things she said in the past. And this week, when she finally did her first ever televised interview with CNN, she was mildly called out on this, right? In 2020, for instance, on one issue, although there are many, you said you were in support of banning fracking when you were a presidential candidate. And now you're just claiming, oh, that's not true. That never happened. And Megyn Kelly here very brilliantly fact checks her on those claims that were made in that disaster CNN interview. So folks, I'm Vince with Resist the Mainstream. If you enjoy our content, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you are new. And without further ado, let's get into today's clip.
When you were in Congress, you supported the Green New Deal. And in 2019, you said, quote, "There is no question I'm in favor of banning fracking." Fracking, as you know, is a pretty big issue, particularly in your must-win state of Pennsylvania.
Sure.
Do you still want to ban fracking?
No, and I made that clear on the debate stage in 2020, that I would not ban fracking. As vice president, I did not ban fracking. As president, I will not ban fracking.
So first of all, everyone who has seen her in the past knows this is not true. But all right, let's get into it.
Okay. She says she made it clear on the debate stage in 2020. She was no longer running for president in 2020. She had been chosen by Joe Biden as his running mate, and she had one debate, and it was against Vice President Mike Pence. I will show you that in 1 minute. But first, I am going to show you the clip from 2019 to which Dana Bash was referring.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So, yeah, and starting with what we can do on day one around public lands, right? And then there has to be legislation. But yes, and this is something I've taken on in California. I have a history of working on this issue. And to your point, we have to just acknowledge that the residual impact of fracking is enormous in terms of the impact on the health and safety of communities.
So again, it's pretty straight up, right? There's no question. I am in favor of banning fracking. By the way, when she was also asked in this interview about some of her changes, she said that her values have not changed, which of course begs the question, is it then perfectly fair to assume if you haven't changed since back then, you're still in favor of banning fracking, right? Well, let's find out.
Okay, so now there's a true believer. There's somebody who actually said her position and then backed up why she has that position. You can see that seems sincere. So when did she take the stage in 2020 and say, I was wrong, fracking's not the way, and I reversed myself on my promise to you, absolutely, that I'm going to ban fracking? When did she do that? I don't remember that. Most people don't remember that. Here's what she actually said in the Pence-Harris VP debate in 2020.
I will repeat, and the American people know, that Joe Biden will not ban fracking. That is a fact.
Joe Biden will not ban fracking. She never said she would. So she never said that I won't ban fracking. She's now the presidential candidate, right? And when she made the comments saying she wanted to ban fracking, that was when she was also, guess what, a presidential candidate. It's easy to hide behind, obviously, your president when you're just the VP, but now that is no longer the case. So there's no correction of the record here. She is still in favor of banning fracking. In her own words, her values have not changed.
Joe Biden will not ban fracking because Joe Biden's position was, let's not ban fracking. And he was at the top of the ticket. But listen to how she mischaracterized it. All right, I'm going to go back through it with you. Will you ban fracking? She asked. No. And I made that clear on the debate stage in 2020 that I would not ban fracking.
Nope.
That I would not ban fracking. Let's listen again. Let's re-cue 2020. I made that clear that I would not ban fracking. And but before you listen to this, here's her follow-up answer. In 2020, I made very clear where I stand, and I have not changed that position. I kept my word. Watch.
I will repeat, and the American people know, that Joe Biden will not ban fracking. That is a fact.
She's a liar. And this was the biggest anchor fail of the evening.
Yeah.
When you get ready for an interview like this, you must study the candidates' positions. There was zero doubt this was going to come up. Zero doubt by Dana Bash and CNN, and zero doubt by Kamala Harris. And as the anchor, Your obligation is to study the previous positions, which Dana Bash did to some extent. She saw that the comments in 2019, and then figure out where the candidate is likely to go and be ready for it so that you can ask appropriate follow-ups.
Well, let's be clear. Dana Bash absolutely knew, but she works for CNN, right? That she was trying to kind of give the veneer of a tough interview, and she did ask some solid questions, but no follow-ups, right? Never grilled her, never cornered her, because that's where Kamala Harris would have collapsed, and they're obviously trying to protect their candidate. That's obviously true.
Dana Bash apparently ignored or saw and disregarded the answer in 2020. I understand why. It's clearly not Kamala Harris saying, I reverse my position. But you would want to know. You'd ask your team, get me everything she said on fracking at all the debates. Make sure I know. And so she should have known that in 2020, she was asked about this issue at a debate, and she restated something that was Joe Biden's position, not hers. And I believe that her failure to do that is what left her unprepared to fact check the candidate in the moment, which was what was required of the journalist sitting there. She should have said, no, madam, what you said on the debate stage in 2020 was that Joe Biden would not ban fracking, that Joe Biden wouldn't do it. You have never reversed your own position except in a paper statement that was released by your campaign. So when did you personally flip? Instead, she got away with this. That distinction would have been noted by a journalist who was prepared. And I'm sorry, but she wasn't. She let her get away with it. I mentioned at the top, this CNN fact checker. This guy's so annoying. I mean, he's just so annoying. It's the double standard and the fervor that he applies to Trump versus Kamala Harris. I mean, it's obvious in his little gentle fact check of Kamala here. Watch.
It makes perfect sense that at the time she was speaking on behalf of Biden, the president, not the vice president, sets administration policy. But maybe other people feel differently. I certainly did not hear anywhere in there Kamala Harris saying that she personally had abandoned her previously expressed 2019 view. Rather, again, she was speaking for Joe Biden.
Oh, my God, he's so weak. Good Lord, he's weak. Maybe others feel differently. How the fuck could we feel differently? It's express. It's explicit. She didn't say it. I'm sorry. It's ridiculous. I hate failures in the press like him. That's ridiculous. Play it again. How do I feel differently that she was stating her own opinion? Let's watch for it.
I will repeat, and the American people know, that Joe Biden will not ban fracking. That is a fact.
You know, now that this has all been exposed, these really would be very great questions for the next person who interviews Kamala Harris to ask, except there's just one issue. Are we going to get a next interview with Kamala Harris? And will it be by an actual journalist, or is it going to be by, oh, this time she's going to do MSNBC? You know, Rachel Maddow's going to interview her. I don't know, something like that. So ultimately, at the end of the day, again, her strategy here is to basically just obfuscate, hide the past, do whatever, and hope that the American people are just oblivious to it all, right? Hope they're just not going to remember it is what it is. But that is exactly why we have to spread stuff like this around. People need to know that she is full of it. She is a liar. When this stuff is actually presented to the public and not hidden by the media, the case is pretty clear, but that's exactly why it's so important to expose this stuff. And that said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And until next time, I've been Vince with Resist the Mainstream. Peace.